Hello, welcome to Real Reds Talk. You're listening to Sam. He's joined along with Adam Gray. How are we, Adam?
Doing fantastic. How are you, Sam? I'll
I'm all
take one
right,
for
mate.
Shreyas.
Yeah, stick it in for Shreyas. That is a Coldplay hoodie, not a Bring Me the Horizon hoodie. Yeah,
Yes, you can see everything there as well.
there's the
Uh, Quotes from the scientist.
very nice, very nice. Nicholas, how are we? How are we on this? Is it Wednesday? I don't even know what day it is because of the bank holiday. But yeah, how are we Wednesday?
Come up to
But the song.
meet you, tell you I'm sorry. Is that the scientist? Is that right?
Yep,
Yeah. Spot on.
that's the
Yeah,
one.
I'm fantastic. I won't asking you, Sam, because I don't expect you to know Coldplay songs.
I know.
Yeah, I am doing. Go on.
I know two songs, but
Okay,
it's
which
the
ones are they? Out of
clock,
clocks,
clocks and yellow. But they're probably the most
Yellow.
popular
Yeah, no,
songs.
that
He
Out.
loves
sounds.
clocks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'm doing really good. Yeah, fantastic. Thank you for asking.
good. Yeah. So obviously we're here, and it's the international break, which we all hate and we all don't like. So we thought we'd provide you a nice bit of content, United related content. So we've got no matches to do. So we're going to do a nice old little tier list, and we're going to go through the squad, and we're one by one, and we're going to say by next summer, do we want this player to stay? Do we want them to be loaned out? Do we want them to sell them, or do we want to just let the contract expire? Because I'm sure there's a few players in that position. First thing first, though, let's go through. We're going to go through the sort of buys that we got in the window. Obviously, we spent a little more this window than we probably any of us expected to spend, and I'm sure Ten Hag expected to spend. And I'm sure the Glazers are not happy about it, which makes me think that we're probably not going to get anybody in January because they're going to use the excuse that January market isn't great and that they overspent in the summer, blah, 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 you know, the bullshit, and then they'll take the dividends out. But we're going to go through the signings and we'll just sort of give them a grade because obviously we're doing a tier list. We'll grade it from A to F and we'll get the lads' opinions on that. So, first signing, we'll go with the most recent one, Anthony. Fresh in our minds, obviously he came from Ajax. We're pursuing him for quite a couple of weeks, maybe a month. Ajax kept jacking the price up, and it seemed like we weren't going to go in for him, really. Cody Gakpo was being lined up as a replacement. And then if the rumours are to be believed in the articles that I've read, Ten Hag insisted that they go back in with a bid of, I think it ended up being 95 million euros. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Plus add-ons.
All park anyway.
Plus add-ons. So we ended up overpaying him, probably double what we were wanting to pay for him. Yeah, Nick, we'll go to you first. What would you say on Anthony, A to F? Obviously, you can expand a little bit on it as well if you want.
Well, in terms of the price we paid for him, I'd probably
F.
give it a fucking I'd give it a U because we significantly overpaid for him. He's a £60 million player. Being completely honest, if you look at the likes of Rafinha, who went to Barcelona, he went for about 60 million as well. Similar race profile, both Brazilian, both right wingers, both left-footed as well. And both similar level, I'd say, in terms of ability. So we definitely overpaid for him. In terms of a signing, I think he's extremely crucial to what Ten Hag wanted to do. I always mention the way he wants to play with his wingers and stuff. Anthony keeps that width. Sancho comes in to link play. We know Sancho's game. So he was incredibly important. We actually brought in a right winger, which we've needed since Antonio Valencia left. So in terms of that, and I'm trying to bring all the variables together to bring like a grade for you, but I'd probably say a B. I'd give Anthony, to be honest, because I don't think it's an A signing. I think an A, you could probably get a better player in that position, but he's quality, he's good. He seems like he's got the right attitude, mentality, as well as some of the other players that he's brought in. So yeah, I'd give it a B.
It's a fair grade. Adam, what would you give him, grade wise?
Yeah, I think looking overall, factoring in the price as well, we spent a lot more than we should have. But it's a position that we actually filled in the squad that we've needed for a long time. I can't remember the last time we had a natural left footer in terms of on the wing, like a natural winger, and especially some Brazilian flair as well, which I'm looking forward to seeing a lot more of. Obviously, we should have seen a few more games, but um, different circumstances happen, so we haven't seen enough of him for me. But he's a player Eric Ten Hag really did want and had his eyes. Maybe if not this summer, maybe it could have been next summer. But other circumstances happening resulted in us actually going ahead and getting him instead, because I think our main target we didn't go for. Well, we did go for, but we couldn't get in the end. But overall, I'd probably give it a B. I think it's a bit too early to say, like, oh, he's going to be a star, or he's going to be a failure. But then the price tag factored in as well, so that's what I'm thinking. I think B is a fair assessment.
Yeah, I think it's a bit harsh to give him a C. If we were doing like B minuses or B plus, I'd probably go B minus. But yeah, I think a B is a fair grade. Let's go to the next one. Next one, Lisandro Martinez. Personally, my favorite player that we bought this season. I think the attitude is fantastic. I think the quality that he's brought is already like next level. He's already displaced Harry Maguire out of the squad, or Victor Lindelof, depending on which one you sort of prefer. I think, again, probably overpaid for him. I think when Nick mentioned him early in the summer, he was saying 35, 40 million. And we ended up paying, 55, 56 million for him. So, again, possibly an overpayment, but again, can't argue with the results, can't argue with what he's brought to the squad, can't argue with that Ten Hag wanted him, and he works for Ten Hag system. So, for me, I think it's an A for me personally. But, yeah, Nick, what are your thoughts?
You know what? I'm very tempted to go for an A-star because I feel like he's been fucking phenomenal, honestly. You can't ask for more from what he's brought. He's got a warrior spirit, elite mentality. He's got everything you want in a player. Leadership qualities, great range of passing, defensively solid, great attitude. A future captain for me. Like, I am over the moon with this signing. He is like, I've looked at it and thought he'll be really good when he comes in. And since he's been even better, he's like, that was my benchmark for him. Since he's come in, it's gone like that because he's been incredible. If you think about how bad our defense was last season, didn't we have a goal difference of like 0?
Yeah,
or something last season? Like,
the worst.
Ridiculous.
I think it was the worst goal difference in history and the worst goals conceded, I think, in the Premier League era. So yeah.
And then you think back to that game when him and Varane got through in cold against Liverpool of all teams, and that massive pressure on it. We got beat off Brentford 4-0, beat off Brighton, and there was huge pressure coming into that game, and they both come in and just ran it, absolutely ran it. I could go on about him for years and years. And like I said, he's going to be my future captain, so I'm going to give it an A-star. I think it's been phenomenal.
Yeah, I can't quite give him an A-star yet, but I'm definitely in agreement. Adam, thoughts on Leacher?
When you're looking at the signing, I think initially they would have said they've taken 50 million, and we offered them 50 million, and they ended up hiking it a bit more than by another 5. So we were giving them what they wanted initially, and then they said, no, actually we want more now. And I don't know whether the relationship is a wee bit, a bit off now between the two clubs, but I thought it would have been, but we ended up getting Anthony over the line then. But looking at this signing, has he put a foot wrong? Like,
nope.
What fault does he have? Everyone points out his height, but I think he's won the most aerial
35%
as a percentage. Yeah, in the league, in the entire league, and people were mocking his height. The fella has everything. He's just everything you want in a footballer. And can you even, like, I'm trying to think of a fault. Honestly, I can't.
He's got a great pass. He's got a great pass as well. Like, his passing's phenomenal. Phenomenal passing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's versatile. He can play in multiple positions. We've only seen him in one position so far, but when called upon, he can play in another position as well. So I can't really give him anything less than an A, because I think, as Nick said, he's going to be a future captain. Like, his mentality is right there. He just reminds me mentally of Patrice Evra, kind of in that kind of warrior spirit.
I think it's Vidic. I think he's the future Vidic, isn't he? Lisandro Martinez.
He's the opposite of Maguire. It's the opposite in every facet. He's the opposite.
He's pure confidence in a player. Like, that's been so missing from a United player, especially in our defence. Like, somebody that confident and that sure of themselves.
Do you know the Arsenal game when the first minute he just put one on Gabriel Jesus and let him know that, mate, this is going to be a fucking tough game. You're in for a ride for the next 90 minutes, so you best get ready.
did it to Mo Salah as well. Like, straight away within 5 minutes, shoulder checked him, didn't he? It was just like, just so you know. you're up against
and
it.
then in comparison to the last season when we played Southampton, let's say for example, and Broja or Broha, however you pronounce it, just basically pushed him off, and then when he cut back, he sent him flying over his own feet, meaning Maguire. It doesn't happen to Lisandro. He's flawless at the minute.
Yeah.
That could get clipped up, but at the minute he's flawless.
Yeah, no, I agree. Next one, Casemiro. I think it's very hard, I think, because we've not seen much of him. Like, he's had bit parts here, sort of small appearances. And I still think he's getting used to Ten Hag's system and also the Premier League. I still think he's bedding in. Obviously, some players take to it really quickly, like Sandro Martinez, for example. I think other players take a while. And I think if he went into City's team, I don't think he'd have the scrutiny or the criticism. I think people would be like, yeah, Pep's bedding him in. He's going to find his way, and then next season he's going to come good. But because he's at United, people expect him to be bang straight away because of who he is. So for me, he has to be a C. He has to be like purely average because he hasn't had the time yet. If you're rating his entire career, obviously he's an A-star because of what he's done in the game. But for me, he's a C, and I just think we've yet to see the best of him yet. We've seen glimpses. We've seen little things, but I think we've yet to see the best of Casemiro. What are your thoughts, Nick?
It's hard to categorise because in terms of what we needed, I think we all know we needed a defensive midfielder. So in terms of that, it'd be A star because that's absolutely what we needed. But in terms of how he's performed or the impact that he's had, I would probably say C at the minute.
Yeah.
The way he's, the cameos that he's had, he's done some really good things that I've seen from him that we didn't have in the defensive midfielder. Just kept it simple, little touches around the corner, reading the game really well, intercepting the ball. But then he's also give it away, and he's been dribbled past relatively easy. So it's kind of it's a balanced scale. So I'd agree with a C grade at the minute, but I think it will improve up to an A, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree. Adam?
Yeah, he came from Real Madrid, and when I'm thinking back over the last 6 to 7 years, I'd probably put him in the top 3 center defensive midfield players. Like, who else has really been better in the last 6 to 7 years consistently in Europe as well? The guy is absolutely rock solid, but it's too early now. He was our last signing, wasn't he? Well, no, Anthony was. He was right before Anthony, wasn't he? Yeah, but it was near the end. It was anyway. We haven't seen enough of him. The last night in Europe, I thought he broke up the play really, really well. He looked absolutely solid. But yeah, he came from Real Madrid, and as the Spanish would say, C.
A little bit of a pun there. Next,
Sorry, I have to do it.
I know.
Bueno.
Next one, Terrell. Is it Malacia or Malacia? Which one is it?
I'd say Malacia.
Right.
Who cares?
Terrell Malacia. I think when we bought him initially, obviously we got him for a decent price. We sort of stole him from, was it Leon? Leon were in for him?
Yeah, they hijacked the deal from them.
Yeah, and we hijacked the deal, 15 million euros, I believe. 50 million euros. And then I think we all expected, he's going to be a backup to Luke Shaw. That's what we all expected. And he's come in and he's basically taken that left back spot from Luke Shaw and he's not giving it back. He's been fantastic. He's got, again, like Lisandro Martinez, he's tenacious. He's aggressive, highly, highly aggressive. Big energy, great going forward, great defensively, works hard for the team, is always switched on, constantly scanning, constantly on, looking for the next ball, looking for the defender. Like, he's always on it. And I think I've been so impressed by this kid. I think he's been better than we had any right to expect him to be. Like, none of us expected him to be this good. And I think he's been fantastic. So for me, he gets an A because I did not expect this out of him. Great price. He's stolen the left back spot, and I think he stays in the team for the foreseeable future. For me, he gets an A. Nick?
He started off like a rocket, didn't he? To be fair, he brought that intensity, that aggression, the energy up and down the left-hand side, which Luke Shaw lacked at times. You look at it comes back to mentality, attitude, and body language again. When you watch Luke Shaw, sometimes he looks like, fed up, like, I can't be arsed, like, it's a difficult game. Whereas Malacia is just like vibrant, on it, smiling all the time. Like, sometimes little things like that can just pump a fan up. Do you know what I mean? So, in terms of his impact with that, I think he's been really good. I still think he's got things to learn, and I think the last game that we played against in the Prem against Arsenal at the start of September when Saka had him in his pocket, to be honest. I think for at least for 60, 70 minutes, he was struggling a little bit, but then he had the right mentality to come back and perform much better for the last kind of 20, 30 minutes or so. So I would give it a B personally, but again, it's another one where I think it can rise to an A, and I do think he can be a consistent performer in that position and be a first teamer. So yeah, great signing. I give it a B.
Adam?
I think, again, factoring in the price, it was really, really cheap, especially in terms of how we sign players. We usually overspend like by nearly double at times, and we've seen that with Anthony. But this was a deal we kind of were watching from a distance, and we pounced at in the last second. And I'm actually glad we did. But it's Dan says it in the chat. It's actually really, really refreshing to actually see players at the back with a bit of fighting spirit, and he's one of those players, him and Martinez. What I like about him is his head is he's just focused on his football. That's it. No outside influence at all. And I hope that's something he can continue doing, especially at the club. Usually people get sucked in about the whole social media side of things. But this lad just seems he wants to focus on his football. He's one of the last few to leave training every day, and he's always talking with the manager, wondering how he can improve it even more. And that's all you want in a footballer. And he's come in the door and he's taken the spot off Luke Shaw, who's been here, what must be
8 years,
9 years now, 8 years. And he's come in and done what I thought Tellers might have done, actually taking that spot, or even like, we've seen Tellers maybe compete a bit at the start, but never to this level. But he's a young lad, and as Nick said, it can go to an A signing if he can keep this up and continue improving. But right now, currently, I give it a B.
No, I think well, I'll bow to you guys with a B. Lastly, Christian Eriksen, I think could be contender signing in the season. Obviously on a free from he had a 1-year contract with Brentford. Had the absolutely tragedy of circumstances at the was it the Euros. Where he had a heart attack, and I think most of us looked at it and thought he was dead. I think the way he collapsed on the pitch was horrific. And then obviously I think Inter Milan had to release him because I believe if you have it's not a pacemaker, but whatever it is he has fitted, you're not allowed to,
IDD, is it?
Is that what it's called?
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah, whatever. If you have one of those fitted, you can't play in Serie A. So obviously he went to Brentford, gave him an opportunity, and I think arguably he saved Brentford's season because he came in and I think he ended up being like the top assist in the team, and he wasn't even there for a full season. He's fantastic on the ball. He's fantastic set pieces. His passing, his vision, the calmness, and the sort of class he brings to the team are amazing. And I think he's brought all those qualities to Manchester United. And then some. I think most of us expected him to come in and be back up to Bruno, a rotational player, and just sort of fill a sort of squad number. But he's done way more than that. He's came in and he's arguably one of the first names on the team sheet now. His passing is undeniable, the quality, like I said, and he runs his ass off. For a guy who had a heart attack like over a year ago, he's covered more ground than any player on the pitch. He's fucking unbelievable. And I think, he's been fantastic for us. And again, I'd have to put him in the A category. I don't think he's put a foot wrong. I've not seen a game from him where I've gone, nah, he's not been great. I think he's been great every single game. Nick?
Yeah, I have to agree with that. I think if you sort of went back in time now and you said to all the United fans, the players that we were signing, Casemiro, Antonelli, Sandro, Malacia, Eriksen, I would have said a lot of people wouldn't look at the Eriksen signing like that kind of shiny, like the shirt seller or whatever, but he's arguably been the most important in terms of what he's doing. Like, we all thought when he was coming in, he'd play a bit part to Bruno Fernandes in that 10 role, but he's come in, played the deeper role as an 8, and he's basically doing what De Jong would have done, I feel like, covering as much distance, breaking the lines. He actually makes players around him much better. Look what happens to McTominay. That says everything you need to know about what Eriksen's done. McTominay is playing like that because now, when he gets the ball, he's like, I can just give it Christian. I just have to play it to Christian, and then, do you know what I mean? All McTominay has to do now, basically, is break play, or if there's a bit of space in front of him, he can move forward and do what he usually does. But now he's got Eriksen there. It's like a safe haven for him. Same with Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes, I've said this a few times on the show, and the risk of repeating myself, Bruno Fernandes looked lost at times because when you shut his creativity down, that was it. It was curtains. We had to rely on Fred or McTominay.
And he was the only one as well. There was no other creative player in that midfield. He was the only one.
Yeah.
So if he couldn't do it, you had nothing.
Yeah. And now Eriksen's coming to that. Players have opposition have more to worry about. So they're like, oh, now we've got to deal with Eriksen. Now we've got and then Bruno becomes free, and we've seen that for one of the goals against Arsenal. So the impacts that he has had, I have to put it up with the same with Alessandro. I think he's an A-star, and I think he's been so fucking important for us. And if he gets injured, obviously touch wood, it doesn't happen, but if he does, you'll see how much of an important signing he is.
Back to McFred. Oh, God. Severe's in the chat. Shout out to Severe. A category for Eriksen, most integral to our style of play. He's the most important player at the moment. Yeah, can't argue with it, mate. Adam, what's not been said about Eriksen? Put your opinion in, mate.
Well, Sevilla said everything there that I was actually going to say. He's integral to the way we play. He makes the team. Yeah, he makes the team tick. He does. He's the brain of the team. He really has filled in the cracks that we were missing as well. Nick said he makes the players around them better.
Sorry.
I was all right until I saw Sam say I actually kept it professional for once, and then I looked at Sammy, went the little side smile there.
Sorry.
Why did I miss something?
You said Phil. You said
no.
All right.
Okay.
Don't
do it because you know what it's like.
Don't mention it.
Yeah, you know what it's like.
It's a good job. It's a good job. Lewis Jackson's not in the chat, isn't it? Jesus.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But he's the brain of our team. Is that okay? He
Next
makes
guy.
everything tick.
Look at his face.
Yeah, he is.
I'm just smiling, man.
Okay.
But I'd had to give him a category. He came in on a free. I think I made the prediction a couple of months back when we did sign him that I said he'd be our most important signing. And
why are you laughing
I'm
now?
glad I missed this.
It was the filmy cracking. That's what.
Dear. Should we move on before? Have you got a point? Do you want to finish your point, Adam?
Sorry.
Yeah, Phil's in the crack that we needed.
Way.
And eventually caught on. But no, he's everything you want in a professional footballer. Kind of like Malassi, as I said, he just comes, does his training, and he's genuinely a player that I didn't think we needed at the start, but we got him in on a free, and here we are. And he's probably been our best signing so far this season. And on a free, he cost us nothing.
He's pure class, isn't he? Like, he's just pure class.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to mention Dubravka because he's not played yet. I can't. Like,
you.
Yeah. Like,
He's done fuck all.
He's done fuck all, and he's a backup goalkeeper. Like, I'm not gonna put him in. Anyway, Nick, if I probably know the answer to this, but was there a signing that we missed out on that you think, fuck, I wish we would have got him in? I think I know the answer, but go on.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you going to play that game?
Go on.
Are you going to play that game?
Go on.
Are you going to pour that bottle, Sam, are you?
Yeah.
I know.
Still waiting.
Hey, don't give it that shit. We said we're going to do it outside Old Trafford. We are going to do that outside Old Trafford.
We are. Yes, we are.
Don't give me
Yeah,
that
we are.
shit. Yeah, it's got to be Frankie de Jong, isn't it?
Yeah.
To be honest, he's Eric Ten Hag's main target from the start. He made it. It was so public. Everybody knew about it.
From May as well, wasn't it? It was like May he was fucking...
Like, yeah, we're getting this, and then I think early July or late June, we got a bid accepted, and then from then on, everyone thought, right, all he needs to do now is just sort his shit out with Barcelona, it'll be done. Little did we know, for the next 8 weeks, it'd be some grueling twists and turns with journalists. This is happening, he's staying at Barca. Yeah, it's just playing on your emotions like journalists do anyway when it comes to United fans. So, yeah, it's Frankie de Jong, innit? What more can you say about it? I'm running out of words. I've covered that much stuff over Frankie de Jong, as we all know.
I never want to make another graphic for us again with Frankie de Jong on.
No.
The amount of times, my God.
But I will say, I do think.
Oh, for God's sake.
Next summer, I do think next summer, It will happen. I think it'll be like the Jadon Sancho thing where we revisit all the groundwork and legwork's already done. By then, hopefully, they've sorted his issues out with Barcelona. But yeah, we'll save that for
for another show. Need another show.
Yeah, for another show.
Yeah, we could do a whole show on Barcelona because Jesus Christ, what the fuck went on there? Adam, Frankie De Jonge's side. Was there anybody we were sort of linked with where you thought he would have been good? I'd like to see him in a United shirt.
I'm trying to think who has there been. I think Sesko for a while. I was a wee bit excited, especially after I saw him play against Liverpool that time when he tore them.
He scored a goal. Yeah.
He scored a goal, but he looked like he reminded me of a young Ibrahimovic. He was fast. He was very skillful on the ball. I thought he'd be some lanky, crouchy sort of player with bad first touch, but no, he had a really good first touch. But he's obviously gone to Leipzig now for a reduced fee because they're from the Red Bull group.
Yep.
It would have cost us 50 million. We wouldn't have gotten in probably two other names that we got after. That's the only really player I can see. I didn't want us to get Arnautovic.
I don't think any of us wanted to get Arnautovic, did we?
No, well, look what he's doing now. Maybe Eric Ten Hag knew something.
Maybe, but I think the baggage that comes with him, I think that's too much, isn't it? Really. So yeah, no shouts for Rabiot. No shouts for Cody Gakpo. No.
I mean, Gakpo, I'm a big fan of. What he's done this year, I can't believe when Adam told me his stats this season. Fucking unbelievable, man. Like 8 goals and 8 assists in 8 games. It's ridiculous.
9-9 actually.
Is it 9 goals, 9 assists? Yeah, even more impressive.
And he's learning from one of the best strikers to ever play for Manchester United as well. So exactly. Before I get your grade on the entire window, come January, are we signing anybody?
Yes, but it'll be another Malacia type signing, I think, or it'll be if a striker becomes available, someone like, I don't know, we might go in for Brian Brobby, who we was linked with, who Ten Hag's worked with before, someone of that kind of ilk. I think he will go for it, but we ain't spending big money. The Glazers will take 10 million dividends and we'll probably spend 10 mil on a player. That's what I think will happen in January.
What position would you say striker then? Is that what you think?
It all depends what happens with Cristiano as well. It depends on outgoings. If we can keep all of the players that we've got, then I would agree with Adam mentions about getting a midfielder in. Another type, obviously, if Eriksen gets injured, something like that. But then can Donny fill that role? So there's a couple of questions on it. Right back, I think Dalot needs competition at right back. But then how urgent is that? I'm not entirely sure. So yeah, they're the areas that I would look at. I
would say right back and striker would be my 2 play. Like if I could get one of those in, we're not getting both, but if I could get one of them would be, I think, would help us a lot. Adam, are we signing anybody in January? And if we do, what sort of player do you think would come in?
You see, you got to factor in that there's a World Cup too. Maybe someone will be an absolute star at the World Cup. Could be a striker too, and maybe depending on their contract situation, you never know. Maybe they have a year left. You might get them for a decent price. And I did read a quote saying that they do want to take advantage of this market if someone pops up like Liverpool done with what's the name of that Portuguese guy who came from Fulham?
Carvalho.
Carvalho, yeah. They seen the opportunity there. Spurs were heating up their interest, but they went in straight away, got him. And look, he looks a decent player from what I've seen of him when he's come on. I think the positions we should be looking for are striker and right back as well. You need that squad depth on the right, because if Dalot gets injured, we're left with one biscuit who can't do anything, can't do one thing at all. Yeah, so
one biscuit. Oh, fucking hell.
So that's what we're left with. So I think we need that added depth. Still think we need another midfielder, centre midfielder as well. But I think that can maybe wait till the next window after January. So right back and striker, I'd be mainly focusing on, and I think we might have a few scouts in Qatar as well.
Yeah, more than likely. I think most teams will have a couple of scouts in for the World Cup. Nick, what would be your overall grade for the window? Like, what would you give it in terms of money spent, the players in terms of positions that we needed, and then the overall impact of the players that we've brought in?
Like I said before, if you would have told me the players that were coming in before the window actually started, Casemiro, Anthony Ericsson, Malacio, and Lissandro, I would have been like, that's an A. 100% that is an A. There's a slight asterisk on it because of the way we kind of went about it. Obviously, Anthony right at the end for €100 million, basically, it was ridiculous.
Yep.
Casemiro wasn't in the plans. You didn't hear anything about him until the end of August, basically, and that's because we couldn't get Frenkie de Jong. We spent so long on that deal. If we wouldn't have got an elite replacement, you know, the fan base would have gone absolutely nuts. So what they did was, what an elite DM is exactly what United need. We'll go get him. That'll fill in the blank for not getting De Jong, etc., etc. Ericsson, as we discussed, been phenomenal. Malacia is phenomenal. So you have to give it an A. But the fact that we went in for, before we got Anthony and Casemiro, it was Arnautovic and Rabiot. And but because we lost them 2 games in a disgusting fashion, that's why they went and got it. So it is really hard. Again, it's one of them that's got a lot of variables. I don't know how to kind of think it. But as a whole, the 5 players that we brought in, I would give an A.
Adam, what are your thoughts?
If you said at the start of the window, what positions do we need? I would have said a DM, a right back, a right winger, and a striker, and a centre back. Those would have been the key positions. We've got a right winger. We've got CDM. We've got a centre back. So we filled in a few key holes, and I know you can't fill in all these holes in one window, but we ended up signing a few players. Don't.
I was waiting. I know. But do you know what happens in my head? I see you, and I'm right. How long till he cracks? Like, I'm just waiting, and I'm just like, right, let's give it. Like 10 seconds, 20 seconds.
I'd love to be the ultimate professional, but when someone says we have to fill these holes,
yeah.
It's come on.
It's like a. Oh, I'm not gonna say that joke. Actually, that's even worse.
Yeah. Please, on my behalf.
Anything else, Adam? Oh, sorry.
How we dealt with, if you look how we dealt with the window, the Frenkie de Jong situation, going in for players who were definitely not, like, you know, in the plans at all, that were absolute panic buys. Rabiot would have been an absolute panic buy. Arnautovic would have been as well. I'm glad we didn't go for them, and I'm glad the fan base actually put pressure on the club to not sign these players. Even Gary Neville coming out speaking against these sort of signings. I think we've overspent a bit too.
I agree.
Players. I think that's something I think we could have kept if we had gone in earlier, but we didn't because of certain other deals as well. We could have maybe saved 70 million, and that alone is another top quality player that could have come in.
You could go get Gakpo, and you could go get another like a Dumfries as well. For that.
You could have got Gakpo and I reckon Dumfries for that price, maybe a little bit more as well. But I think I give it overall a B minus. I would. I'm happy with the window that we done. Don't get me wrong, but I think B minus because we've overspent. We dragged on deals. The club were actually going to go down a direction that we weren't happy with, and they changed at the last second. So they still have it in them to actually go down that line, and we got to keep them in track.
Yeah, I agree. I think overall the players, fantastic, great players. But again, we overpaid because of our incompetence in the transfer window yet again. Every window we don't learn our lesson about getting players deals done early, laying the groundwork maybe in previous seasons to then go purchase them the next season. We just seem to get to May and go, right, who's available then? And it's like all these other teams have been planning since last season and then they've been in contact with agents and setting deals up and stuff, and we just don't seem to do that. And I'm hoping with the new regime and the new people in charge, obviously it's still the Glazers at the top, as we all know, but I'm hoping that this is just teething problems. The first summer, they've learnt the lesson, and now going forward, they understand what they need to do and how to get these deals done. But it remains to be seen, and we'll see what happens. Shall we move on to the tier list?
Yes, sir.
Cool, let's do it. By the act of magic, there we go. All right, so these two lads can't see this, but you guys on the video can. Just be blind. So, first player on the tier list. It's actually a bit of a debatable one, to be honest with you. David De Gea. So, Let me explain the tiers. We've got keep, so obviously he stays at the club next summer and he continues on in the first team. We've got loan, so that's probably more applicable to sort of players maybe on the fringe or youth players. And we've got sell, and then we've got release on contracts. I know a couple of players that they're coming up to the end of the contract, so it might just be worth letting them go. So, first player, Nick, David De Gea. What do we do?
This is next summer, yeah?
Next summer, yeah.
I'd sell him.
You'd sell him.
Yeah. I don't think the way Ten Hag wants to play, I think he hinges that a lot. And despite, I know everything that Maguire's kind of said about him, he was a bit annoyed with the comments he's coming out with, but he did have a point to a certain extent. And the way he keeps that massive gap in between from the keeper to the defence. His distribution's all over the place at times. His shot stopping's great, don't get me wrong, but we've known that for years. We need a new modern aged keeper. We need someone who fits the system. Yeah. And David De Gea, as long as he's there, will hinder it. So I think we need a new keeper. He's a legend of the club. He's done bits for us. He's had phenomenal seasons, more player than the seasons than anyone, I believe.
Yep.
And I'm not in a massive rush, but by the time next summer comes around, I believe it's time to go.
Do you think we're bringing a new keeper, or do you think we'll get on to Dean Henderson next? Do you think Dean Henderson comes back and he replaces him?
Not the way he's performing at Nottingham Forest. He's had a few good performances, but of late he's had a few shockers where you're like, whoa, what is going on there?
Also,
to be honest,
the comments he's made as well in that interview
exactly don't really sit well, do they? So you've got Henderson, who he's very vocal. He's commands his box, his distribution's decent, but then he's not as good a shot stopper as David De Gea. I want a blend of both.
Yeah.
So there's a keeper out there, surely, for a Ten Hag system.
So next,
who it is remains to be seen.
Nick's saying sell. Adam, what are we saying for David De Gea?
Yeah, when I heard the Maguire comments, obviously our first reaction was to actually go right on Harry Maguire, like saying, "Oh, these aren't the comments a captain would make," but it was partially true in a sense too. Look, David De Gea he's a great shot stopper. Has been a very, very loyal servant to the club, but I think it comes a point now where you have to move on. Like, you can't stick and be loyal to these players. We've done it for so long, and we've had players from, is it like 4 or 5 different managers?
Yep.
And it's actually a joke now. Yeah, and we're the only club that does it. Everyone else gets to bring in their own players. Look at what Arteta done. He brought in Ramsdale. He did, from a team that went down. And look how well he's playing now. He is, and he's actually playing like he is kind of a modern keeper now. There are goalkeepers out there. I think you might have to pay a bit now.
Probably.
Considering if you look at the prices, look at the prices of like what Alisson was when he went to Liverpool.
Yeah,
like that was what 60-70 million it was.
And you got you got United tax as well on top of that. So
yeah, I think one particular keeper that I like, the AC Milan keeper, from what I've seen.
Maignan.
Yeah.
I think there's some good options. I think there's him. There's the Brighton goalkeeper Sanchez. There's Jose Sarr at Wolves. I think there's some good options out there. Good young goalkeepers, modern goalkeepers. I think there's some options there. So we're putting David De Gea in sell then, yeah.
Can I ask you a quick question just on that? Would Pep Guardiola, Jurgen Klopp, Barcelona team, would they take David De Gea now?
No.
With the way they play?
No, you saw what Pep did with Joe Hart. He came and he was like, nah, not working. Claudio Bravo came in, didn't really work either. Yeah. He got Edison in, see you later, out the door. And I think that's what Ten Hag's going to do. He's going to do the same to David De Gea next season. Speaking of Dean Henderson, I think sell. I think the interview he did painted him in a bad light. It's clear that he doesn't like being at United, and he had all sorts of comments that I'm not going to sort of get into. For me, I just think we need to sell him, and it just needs to be cut the cord, as it were. Nick?
Completely agree. Don't need to say any more on it.
Adam?
Yeah, so get him those comments that he made, and likewise for Bailly as well. Like, you're on loan, you're still under contract at Manchester United. You shouldn't be making those comments when you're signed under contract at the club. So out the door.
Yep. Dubravka, I'm just gonna put in keep because I think he's gonna be here, isn't he?
Is he even in the squad? Like, what the fuck's going on with him?
But he's registered. He's registered. So, but I'm just gonna put him in keep because I don't know. Anyway, let's move on to the defenders. So, should we do Adam's favourite player first?
Yeah.
Mr. Philip of Jones.
Sell.
I mean, I'm tempted to put him in contract release because who the fuck's gonna buy him?
I mean, yeah.
Just
Let
him go.
Just
let him go. Let him go. Like he's been at a club for how long? 8 years? 9 years?
Longer. 10 years.
10 years. He's not been fitter than longer than what? A few months at a time. I respect.
You mean days?
Days. Hours. Yeah. I respect him as a guy. Like I think he's great. I think he's a decent human being from what I've seen. It clearly means a lot to him to play for Manchester United, but it's just not worked. And he's had opportunity after opportunity and it's not happened. I think we just need to release him and just be done with it because I don't think anybody would buy him personally. Are we happy with that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, contract release.
Why not give him to Brendan Rodgers? Terrific character.
Yeah.
Great character.
Leicester's like the retirement home for Manchester United defenders at this point, isn't it?
Yeah. Look at the done with Johnny Evans.
Yeah, he's been. We never should have sold him. By the way, I don't. We should have sold him. Anyways,
I had to apologise for messing up that deal with Bordeaux. I do.
Yeah,
it should have happened
last
January, but sadly didn't.
Get your shit together, Adam. Fuck's sake.
You know.
Yeah. Victor Lindelof. I think he stays. I think he's our backup centre back. I think he's solid. I don't think he's going to be a first teamer at any point. I don't think he has a lot of value on the market either, so I think he stays. So for me, I'd keep him.
Yeah, I don't mind him as a backup centre back, but is he happy to do that? I'm not entirely sure. You haven't really seen much coming out from Lindelof, have you, in regards to a move or anything? So yeah, I'm happy to keep him as a backup centre back, Europa League kind of guy.
Adam.
I think that's a fair assessment. Keep him as a backup as long as he's happy and he's not kicking up a fuss behind the scenes like other players are doing, who think they should be starting when they absolutely shouldn't. But he's a fella. He's remained. He's always been professional at Manchester United, so you can't really fault the guy as well. So I gotta keep him. Just bench him.
Yeah. No, I agree. Raphael Varane, he stays, right? There's no fucking argument. This season, he's been fantastic. I think, obviously, if he came in and he had an injury-ragged season like he did last season, might be question marks, might be time to sort of get rid and just sort of cut the thing. But I think this season he's been phenomenal, and I think we keep it. If he carries on, we keep him.
Agreed.
Yeah, you just gotta wrap him now in what do you call that?
Cotton wool
stuff. Bubble wrap.
Yeah.
Cotton wool, bubble wrap, everything. Especially on international duty. That's what I'm worried about now. Him picking up an injury.
Yeah, just don't let him play for France. Just don't let him play for France. Like, and we'll be all right.
Please don't.
God.
But there was a while where I would have sold him because of the injuries. But I think what shows a great manager is that Erik ten Hag has come in and put him on a personal kind of training regime.
Yeah.
Like nobody's ever done this. Ollie didn't do it. Ragnick didn't do it, and he's our best defender. And that really separates the quality of manager, and that's why I'm happy to keep him there. He's an instant starter for me, so keep.
Yeah.
I've just got a vision of Phil Jones outside that training regime thing outside the room. Like, can I come in as well, please?
Fuck off, Phil. Fuck off. Go back.
Play with the rabbits.
Yeah, go play with the rabbits, Phil. If you don't know what we're talking about, tune into one of our Instagram lives one time. You'll understand. Fucking hell. We spent about 20 minutes roasting Phil Jones, poor lad. Lisandro Martinez, he just stays, doesn't he? He's just fucking hit the ground. We spoke about him at length, so he stays. I don't think we have any argument there. Diego Dallo, again, I think he's been fantastic for us this season. I think very criminally underrated. I think he had a really good season, really good few games under Ragnick, and it started to show his quality. And then under Ten Hag, he's taken it to the next level. I think he's been fantastic. Again, we're short now. Right back, we'll get onto Wan-Bissaka in a minute. If he gets injured, we're kind of screwed. But for me, he's the first. He's the only right back that we have, and he's the only right back that's going to start for me. I think he's been great. Nick?
crucial player at the minute. Crucial. Ten Hag absolutely loves him. He was saying that even before he came in, praising him a lot. So he sees a lot of potential in him. Obviously sees the same thing that Jose Mourinho saw when he bought him as well. Mourinho loves them intelligent, hard-working players, and I think Dalot is that, and he can only improve at the minute. So absolutely, I'd keep him.
Adam?
Yeah, I'd keep him. The guy's an engine. He can run up and down that wing like probably 180 minutes. Let's be honest, he could do it. I'm really looking forward to seeing how Anthony and him flourish on the right side, especially with Anthony cutting in. He's going to have a lot more space on that right. So I'm hoping he does work on his crossing a bit. Hopefully it's something that we can see a bit more of. And, sometimes I forget just how young he is.
Yeah.
Like, I always thought he was a wee bit older, but no, he's a lot younger than I actually thought. So, hands down, keep him. I think Ten Hag can make him into the next Mazraoui.
Yeah. Big talk, man. Big talk. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Savir, Dan, Shania, Shreyas, all the good people in the chat. Thank you for all the comments and stuff like that. Shania saying, sell Lindelof. He's the captain of Sweden. Won't be happy to be back up. Interesting. She also says, could get 40 million for Henderson. I don't think we'd get 40 million for him. I think we might have done this summer. Maybe, but I don't think now we're going to get 40 million. Severe also says, Nick, Frankie's not coming. The ship sailed.
If you want to leave the club, let me know right now, mate. drop me a message. If you want to leave the club, that's fine. I am staying on this boat, whether it's a one-man boat or not.
Till it goes down.
I'll go down with this ship.
Yep. Tenem Mengi. I think Tenem Mengi, the ship sailed, does it? Not Tenem Mengi. Fuck.
I was going to say
Axel Twanzebe. I think the ship sailed on it. I think it's time to go with Axel.
I think Axel needs to be axed.
I think, yeah.
He needs to go somewhere else.
To restart his career. Yeah, just restart his career. I think he had a great Champions. Who did he pocket in the Champions League?
Mbappe.
Yeah,
Neymar.
I think he had that fantastic game, but since then hasn't
also
done much.
had the Istanbul game as well, where it was just terrible.
Shocker. So yeah, I think he needs to sort of just move on. But wish him the best of luck. I hope his career works out for him because he deserves it for sure. Should we get on to the big one? Harry Maguire.
Harry Maguire.
You're not talking about his head, are you?
No, well, could be.
That's fucking massive.
I think he came into Manchester United at an overinflated price, which again is United standard, overplaying for players. I think he was a decent centre back. I don't think he was world class by any means. He had some good games for us. He was decent. And then last season his form had fallen off a cliff completely, just utterly. I've not seen a decline like that in my lifetime at United. I've never seen that. It was utterly like, Nick, what was the mistakes in that Southampton game? Was it
Broja?
Yeah, but no, what was the total mistake? Was it 18 mistakes?
18 mistakes.
18 mistakes, which is shocking for a centre back. Absolutely shocking. He's also not great when he's interviewed. He says some really silly shit, as we've seen the last couple of days, about David De Gea and coaches and what have you, and then talking about the reason he must be good because every manager's played him, forgetting that he cost 80 million, is also the captain, so that's probably a contribution why. And then the fingers in the ears with the Andorra celebration, silencing critics, like, come on, mate. For me, I think it's got to breaking point now. He needs to go. I think Ten Hag has already set his stall out and gone, he's not my captain. He's a captain in name only at the minute because Bruno's played. He's been captain. He's played, 10 minutes for United under Ten Hag after the first two games. I think he's, unless Ten Hag could pull a miracle out of him, pull a great player out of him, I think he's done. I think he needs to go. Yeah. For me, we need to sell him. We're going to get a loss on it, obviously, but it just needs to be done.
Yeah, every game Harry Maguire has started, we've lost.
Yeah.
This season. That says everything you need to know. I think it's time to take him out back, to be honest.
We're the rabbits, George.
Yeah. In all seriousness, it's clearly not working out. He doesn't fit in a Ten Hag system. Another player, you're trying to play that proactive style, a high line. he looks so vulnerable in that, and he has this nervousness about him when he plays. Every time he touches the ball, every United fan goes like that. Like, they just, oh, get off it, get him off it, give it someone else. Like, it's panic mode as soon as he gets it. Do I think Ten Hag could potentially get a player out of him? I think, again, like Lindelof, I wouldn't mind having him as a backup if you're bringing him in. But with the quotes he's coming out at the minute about all this, it's everyone else's fault and all this kind of shit, and everyone play the tiny violins for me. Yeah, I would get rid. But I do think he could be a secondary centre-back. I believe there's a bit of a player in there.
He's going to be a thorn in the team, isn't he, to create that squad harmony. If he's coming out with these comments over and over again, and it's that he's going to be, you just need to sort of take the thorn out. Don't
Why
you?
am I not playing?
Yeah.
Because you shit, Harry.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. Like, awful.
Adam, I know you're a massive fan of Harry's, so yeah, what are your thoughts?
You know, I'm kind of worried that we might go down the road of Phil Jones with this guy, if I'm being honest. Nobody's going to want him. Like, who does want him? Apparently, Barcelona and Chelsea did for a while. And
why were we not going Barca have him, mate? Just fucking... They wanted Wan-Bissaka as well, didn't they? Just fucking give him. Just give him to him. Fucking hell.
I really don't understand this. Captains are supposed to inspire confidence in everyone else. They're meant to be the focal point of the team, like, you know, someone that everyone looks to get their confidence and pull them through, like, even when things are going against your team. He doesn't install that in any of the players. As Nick said, fans, including the players on the pitch, when he gets on the ball, he inspires nervousness. Yeah. That's all he inspires. And then he never takes any responsibility for himself. Like, do you remember when he posted his stats on his Instagram story as well after we lost? Like, he does this sort of stuff, and he's come out fair enough. Some of the stuff he said about De Gea is partially true.
Yeah.
But De Gea also won our player. Did he win our player of the season last season?
De Gea. It was De Gea or Ronaldo won it. It was one of them.
Yeah. It was one of them. So, and he's coming out speaking against that about last season. I don't know what it is since really the whole Greece incident as well. It's like it's kind of shook him up. His confidence. But as the captain, you need that confidence. You need to always have that chip on your shoulder against other teams that have done you in the past, and he never does that. I'd actually have a lot more respect for him now if he just gave up the captaincy, like Granit Xhaka done it.
Yeah.
Like, he had it taken off him though, didn't he?
Yeah, I thought he had it stripped.
I think he gave it.
Yeah. Oh, I thought because everything that happened with the fans when he was walking out, he was like, "Fuck off." He was in the back, wasn't he? I thought they stripped it and gave it to Aubameyang, but I don't know. Maybe he might have.
I think once Aubameyang went, he was this vice captain. So then he basically took over as captain again. He did, but he gave it to Odegaard then. And I'd have a lot more respect if he done something along those lines. Because I think it'd take a massive weight off his shoulders as well. You never know; he might become a better player from it.
It's possible, but yeah, you're saying sell then, yeah?
Sell. Well, I'd release the contract, but
yeah,
probably yeah. I'm not 100% on it, but I'll bow down to you too because you said sell
it. Teden Mengi, I think he needs time, doesn't he? He needs to be loaned. Is he on loan at Birmingham currently?
I think so, yeah.
So I think he probably needs another season of loan. Maybe he pulls up trees at Birmingham and he's fantastic and you have to bring it back. But I think loan for me, I think he needs to like some more time. But if any of you disagree, please jump in.
No, I agree with it 100%. It just needs a loan. It's one of them. Still raw, rough around the edges, but there's potential there. I'm happy to loan him out.
Exactly. We've seen it with Saliba as well. He went off to Marseille, had a really, really good season. It's all about getting the minutes and getting used to playing football or football regularly. And that's someone I think that we need to put out on loan again.
Yeah, no, I agree. Terrell, we've talked about Terrell Malacia. I think he's just in keep. I think he's been fantastic. We keep him in the squad. I think there's no arguments there. Brandon Williams. Brandon Williams is a tricky one. I think he showed real promise under Ollie and then kind of disappeared out of the team. And then he went on loan to Norwich. Didn't have the greatest spell, really, in a really poor Norwich team as well. I think if he was going to be a fantastic player, he would have showed it by now. I think it's time to cut your losses and just, I'd say either sell or contract release. That would be my two options for Brandon Williams. I think he's had his opportunity. He's been on loan. I just don't think he's got the quality for me. So it'd be sell or contract release, either one.
Yeah, I'd sell him 100%. If you can't fucking pull trees up or look half decent at Norwich, how are you going to succeed at United as a first team regular?
Yeah.
So I've never rated him, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
He's the most like one-footed left back I've ever seen in terms of him being a right foot. There's only one left back that succeeded. It was a couple, but one main one that succeeded at left back when he's been right-footed, and that was Maldini. And obviously you got Dennis Irwin, who was great on both feet as well. But he's got a goal for me.
Adam.
Yeah, I don't think he has the qualities to play for a big club. Barely has the qualities to play for Norwich City. He's coming out. He's getting on the fans' backs who, kind of are a bit more critical of Harry Maguire. Fair enough, it's his captain, but he shouldn't be the one coming out kind of defending all that. It kind of stirred the pot a lot, it did, and it got a lot of fans against him. But I haven't really seen anything, and I know he hasn't really had much of a chance, but he went off on loan, didn't play well. I don't think he's good enough. I'd personally sell him. And
see that thing you say there, Adam, sorry to cut you in there, about Brandon Williams giving it the big one as well. They're all bark with no bite. Do you know what I mean? Like them, these crop of English players that we've got at the minute, they all give it that, but never perform on the pitch.
No. And the ones who do perform on the pitch don't get selected for the England squad. Go figure.
Crazy.
There you go.
Let's move on to Aaron Wan-Bissaka, or as Adam likes to say, Wan Biscuit. I think if Ten Hag would have got a right back in summer, I think he would have been gone. I'd have been out the door. Or maybe if he would have gone out the door, he would have got a right back in. I'm not sure which way round it was. They were looking at it, but for me, he's one-dimensional. You were hoping when we got him, fantastic tackle of the ball, great one-on-one defender. You were hoping he was going to develop that attacking side of his game. Hasn't happened. And I think Ten Hag doesn't rate him because clearly he started Dalot every single game. So I think for me, Wan-Bissaka's days are numbered. And for me, I'd sell him. Again, probably going to take a loss because we paid 50 million for him and we're not getting that. So for me, sell. Jump in, lads.
Wan-Bissaka's got to go, but I do think he can have a good game. I think he could do a decent job for someone. Like if he goes back to Palace, the way they play on the counter attack, he could do a good job there.
Sure.
100%. So I don't think he's still a player in there, just again not for United's capabilities. So I would sell him next summer or even in January if an opportunity comes up, and then go get someone like a Dumfries.
Yeah, I agree. Adam.
Like Harry Maguire, he's like Bambi on ice. He just doesn't have a good ball control. He can't cross a ball. He can barely pass a ball, let alone he's good at defending. We say that, but I think a famous quote by Maldini was, "If you're making a tackle, you've done a mistake beforehand."
Yeah,
and he's always making last-ditch tackles. We've seen his qualities. I think was it against Watford? It could have been last season. He cleared the ball off the line, and it was going in. And he got back really fast. Like those are the strengths that means he could play for a lower kind of not division, but lower kind of in the table team. And Palace, I think, as Nick was saying, is perfect for that. Whether Vieira kind of wants him, I think there was talks about him maybe going back, and I think they were offering like 15, 16 million, and John Murtha blocked that. He did. I think I read something about that, how he said that there is a player there, but like, why are we trusting these people to do these calls? But I personally sell him. I think his time is done.
Yeah.
Like he's just not good enough. We have the Maguire as centre backs, literally, and Maguire, and we have the Maguire of right backs in Wan-Bissaka.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because there's so much promise, but it is what it is. Vincent Bullock's in the chat. He was in reference to Harry Maguire. Sell. We'll get about 15 to 25 for Wan-Bissaka. I don't think we get 25 million for him. I think we're lucky if we got 25 million for him, but
I'd say 20 at a push, to be honest.
20, yeah. Is this show live or pre-recorded? We are live, mate. Always live. So yeah, drop some comments, Vince. It's nice to see you, mate.
And it's live.
Let's move on to the midfield. Let's get a couple of people out of the way, just because it is
people in the chat get involved as well.
Yeah. Drop your comments in the chat. Bruno stays. our captain, fantastic player, probably one of the best purchases we've had for a long time. I think there's no question that he stays. Yeah. Cool. Next, Casemiro. Again, I think he's not had time yet. I think he's still bedding in. I think he stays. Obviously, we paid 70 million for him. I think he needs time. We keep him. Unless anybody objections. No? Cool. Christian Eriksen, again, we spoke about at length. I think fantastic. Best signing of the summer, arguably. Integral to the team currently. Quality, class. Again, keep. And if there was a tier above where keep at all costs, I'd put him in there. But I think fantastic. Anything, objections, lads?
My Danish pastry. Keeping. I love him.
Love it. We need a chant about that, don't we? Oh shit, I forgot a defender. Apologies. I was going through and I forgot a defender. Roberto Carlos. I forgot about Luke Shaw. Very debatable. Let's get into this. He's been at the club for, did you say 8 years, Nick? 8 years. And I think in that 8 years, for me personally, he's had 6 months of top quality player. He's been a top quality player. Obviously, Roberto Carlos, he was in the Euros. Fantastic. We brought Tellers in and he seemed to step his game up. Obviously, he had a really horrific injury, which I think curtailed a lot of his promise. I think he was showing signs of really good sort of quality player, and then he had that horrible injury, and I don't think he ever recovered from that. And finally, we thought during those 6 months, we thought we were getting this player again, and then since then, it's just gone back down. For me, I think he's had long enough, and I think he needs to go. For me, I'd sell him. But Nick, talk to me.
I said at the start of the season, I'd give him one more season. So I'm happy for him to have one more season, see how he gets on. The frustrating thing is, when I watch Liverpool and they take, I know they haven't been in the best of form this season, but when they take Robertson out, they put that Tsimikas in, a left back, and he's a quality player as well. The levels hardly drop when he comes in. But I feel like now with Malacia, when we take him out and put Luke Shaw in, it will drop a bit, or it does drop a bit. So I'm slightly concerned about that. You want the highest competition throughout your team, and he isn't providing it in a minute. But he's got one more season for me. Like I said the same thing with Rashford. One more season. If they don't do it, sell him. So at the minute, I would keep him.
Okay. Adam?
Right now, I'm selling him. I'd sell him. I think he'd be a valuable asset in terms of recouping funds as well in for next window. I'm trying to think what other team is going to actually need a left back. Man City have Cancelo. Liverpool have Robertson. Chelsea have 5 or 6 left backs.
Yeah.
If we're being honest.
Yeah.
So they have a few there. Arsenal. Good to see Arsenal going for someone like that.
They've got Zinchenko, haven't they? And Tierney.
Yeah. And Tierney's son. No. You're looking what? And he strikes me as the sort of guy who wouldn't move abroad as well. I don't think he would. He kind of wants to stay in England. So I'm trying to think who. Maybe Newcastle. Newcastle could be sort of club up and coming, and I do think we could get money for him. But he's 8 years here. I know he had the leg break, and he was performing quite well before that, and then it kind of took it out of him. It did. He obviously gained weight under a lot of pressure under Mourinho. Ollie came in and we saw a different kind of shot, but the drop off then, like Maguire, the drop off was just insane. I've never seen a drop off.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Consistency.
Like Maguire,
no consistency.
Like Wan-Bissaka, just flaky as fuck. You never know what you're going to get with him, and you can't have that in a player.
Yeah. And he just doesn't look fit when he's played this season as well. He just doesn't look up to it. So I'd have to sell him. I think we can get over 20 million for him as well. So I'd have to sell him.
Yeah, I agree. Sorry, Nick, you've been outvoted. He's getting sold. Back to the midfield. Let's talk about Fred. I think a very divisive player, and in the way he plays as well. I think he's very divisive in the way he plays. Sometimes the Fred is phenomenal. He's great at breaking up play. His aggressiveness, he's tenacious. Sometimes he's got a shot on him. Other times he blazes it into row Z, and then has one of the worst games you've ever seen from him. He's very 50-50. For me, as a squad player, I'd keep him. I think it'd be interesting also when he plays next to Casemiro if we get to see that more regularly. Because obviously he plays with him with Brazil and they do really, really well together. That'd be interesting. For me, I think there's a player in there potentially, and under Ten Hag he could sort of make it work as a squad player. I don't think he's a first team starter for me, but I think as a squad player I would keep him. Nick, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, at the moment I'd keep him as a squad player. But then again, I keep thinking about other teams when they're bringing in like their secondary team. You look at, I don't know, Chelsea bringing Kovacic. If Kante, Jorginho, anyone is out like that, Kovacic is on the ball and off the ball is better than Fred for me anyway. Maybe similar level off the ball, but on the ball is significantly better.
Yeah.
So then I think like we need that. It comes back to competition again. You need that quality, and is Fred providing that? Not really. That's why I would bring in another midfielder, because if Eriksen gets injured or Bruno, it's going to be Fred who's coming in and stepping in. So at the minute, I would keep him, but it's something we could look at maybe not next summer, a little bit after.
Adam?
Yeah, I think I keep him when around the time Ollie got sacked. I know all the players they just seemed dusted. They did. Ragnick came in, and how many players can you say improved or even played got under Ragnick? Fred was one of them that actually did. I think right now we just remember his kind of last game when it was a number 10 against Sociedad, and I think that's a bit unfair. He was played out of position as well.
Yeah.
Didn't have a good game. Nobody had a good game then, but I do think he can have a role in the squad, but from the bench, like rotation maybe. Well, I know we're aiming higher than Europa League, but like in the off chance that we do finish in it, like he can play those games as well, just not at number 10.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd keep him, but for the bench, join Donny with the splinters on your backside.
Well, speaking of Donny van der Beek, what do we do with a problem like Donny? Was brought into Manchester United. I don't think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wanted him. I think the only reason he probably came to United is because of our relationship with Van der Sar, who's obviously is he the sporting director? What's his title?
He deals with the business side of things, Van der Sar. There's a misconception that I think he does that side of it, but Van der Sar does the business side.
Right.
And then it was Overmars who did the other side of it, but Overmars is gone now. So.
Yeah. So I think that's probably why it happened. And he came to Manchester United. I don't think Ollie wanted him. I think he was basically handed him and go, here, you wanted a midfielder. There you go. And then you kind of like, well, what the fuck do I do? Didn't play much. Showed some moments of quality when he did play. Ragged it, didn't fancy him. Ended up going on loan to Everton. And now, like Adam said, he's riding the bench under Ten Hag. And you thought the one guy that would play Donny van der Beek at Manchester United is his former manager who made him a star at Ajax. And Ten Hag doesn't seem to fancy him. And I can't work out why. I don't know if he's not fit. Obviously, he's injured currently. But before that, I don't know if Ten Hag thinks he can't handle the Premier League. He's not up to snuff. I don't know what it is. It's really baffling because I think there's a quality player in there. And I think he could play well for Ten Hag, but he just doesn't seem to want him. And for his own career and for his own sake, I think we should let him go. But it's a difficult choice for me. I think just cut our losses at this point and just let him go, let him have a decent career. But yeah, I'm open. Change my mind, lads, if you've got other opinions.
I am open. I want him to stay, and I think Ten Hag will get a play. I
hope so. Back. I hope so.
And I think the reason why Fred played as a 10 against Sociedad was because Donny wasn't available and he would have played in that game. And I think it's about getting his confidence back, which he's done with Rashford. You've seen he's done with a lot of players from last season. And look at McTominay, the way he's playing at the minute. So you got to ask yourself the question, is it out of the realms of possibility that Donny could come back to the way he was playing at Ajax under United? Look what he's done with McTominay. Look what he's done with Rashford. They look like completely different players. So I have faith in Ten Hag that he will get Donny back to his best.
Hope so. Hope you're right. Adam?
He's a player I want to see excel at the club. I really, really want him to do good because I think, all the jokes aside as well, I think he does deserve the chance. And it is a bit annoying that he didn't get those minutes against Sociedad. Will we be speaking differently of him then if he did? And I think right now as it stands, because he hasn't really been getting a chance, I think for his career he should move but I do think Ten Hag has a plan for him aside as well. I just don't know if Ten Hag thought Eriksen will be performing at this level, covering all that ground he does. Maybe he didn't expect that. And he's currently undroppable. The two for me in probably the three in midfield, if I'm being honest, are undroppable right now. Even McTominay in the league terms, he's being absolutely solid. He hasn't put a foot wrong. So that's one thing I like about the manager as well, is he'll reward like players who actually do perform. For Donny, I think he just has to wait for a couple of minutes here and there in Europe. But if he can start playing good, if someone drops off, then bring him into the team. I do think he has a plan for him. So I'm kind of split between keep and sell.
I'm the same.
Like
I'm the same.
For a clip, can we just have the heartbeat sound?
Yeah.
Make your decision, Adam.
Should we do do the lights down like boom?
Yeah. Oh. What am I gonna go with?
Adam, I'm gonna have to push you for an answer.
Oh, can I call a friend? I know. I'm gonna go.
Make sure that friend isn't Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
Yeah.
Exactly. Keep. Final answer.
Keep. He's going in the keep category. There we go. You mentioned him. You mentioned him there, Adam. Scott McTominay. Again, another divisive player last season. I thought we'd seen the last of Scott McTominay last season after the season he put in. I thought he was terrible. One of our worst players, Rashford aside. Brighton game, I thought he's fucking done. It's over. There's no way he can come back into this team. I thought he's fucking finished. And Ten Hag is, I don't know what he's done. I don't know what he's been telling him in training. I don't know if it's because he's got Eriksen around him, like Nick mentioned earlier. I don't know what it is, but he's been fantastic. He's been undroppable. And everybody's gone, oh, where's McTominay playing? Why is Casemiro not playing? Because he's been phenomenal. He's been great. He's kept his game simple, gets the ball. He's got Eriksen, he's got Bruno. He's just got to pass to one of them. Nice and simple. Break the play up. Don't have to venture forward too much. Don't have to sort of run about and create anything. He's literally keeps his game simple, and he's been great for us. And for me, I didn't think I'd be saying this at this point. We have to keep him. I think he's a great squad player, and I think at a minute he's a great first team player. After the Brighton game, I would have sold him immediately. I would have just been like, get rid of it. But for me, he's been fantastic. Nick?
I think you pronounced his name wrong. It's Scott McDominate.
That's
what we're going to call him at the minute.
Nice.
He's been impressive, super impressive at the minute. And like you said, Sam, after that Brighton game, I thought not a chance. There's no chance he gets back into that squad, because that was one of the worst midfielder performances I've seen from him and Fred. It was awful. But he's come back from the depths, and yeah, I've been impressed with him. So I would keep him at the minute. Football's a strange game.
Sure.
Anything could change within the next 6 months.
Yeah. Adam?
I personally keep him. Lad's still young. He's come through the academy. You can't really fault his mentality too. He really does fight for the badge. Loves it. Loves the club. Loves the fans. We saw how much that goal against City a couple of seasons back meant to him. Right now, he's up there with probably our most consistent player as well. He's up there probably with Eriksen in terms of consistency.
Yep.
I probably put him third place behind. Yeah, I had to correct myself there. Third behind Lissandro and Eriksen this season in terms of consistency. But I thought his time was done, like Maguire after the Brighton game. I thought that was it. Like, I didn't expect him to come back and do this, but he's currently playing the best football of his career so far. So Ten Hag is rewarding that by starting him consistently. And the fact that he's keeping what I said, one of the top 3 CDMs of the last 6-7 seasons out of the squad, what we've been crying out for years, since probably Michael Carrick left, says everything about the lad. So I had to keep him.
Yeah, no, total agreement. Vince in the chat, he'll be taking a blue tablet soon, Scotty, and he'll go walk down. Don't know what that means. I assume blue tablet is Viagra. I don't know. Anyways.
Yeah, hopefully it's not a disgusting reference.
I hope not. Cheers, Vince. Yeah, I think that is the mid. Oh no. So there's a couple of youth players.
Loan.
Zidane Iqbal, loan. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd loan most of them, to be honest.
Yeah, Zanik Bell in the loan. And then, I think that's it midfield-wise. Yeah, we're all good midfield-wise. Okay, let's move on to the forwards. Let's eliminate a couple of these. Dan's favourite player, Shola Shoretire, Shorty.
Shorty in the club.
I've not seen anything from him. I don't think he's got the United quality. I think contract release. Yeah. I don't think he's got it. I think we would have seen it by now. For me, I think he needs to.
I'd loan him.
Loan him?
I don't think the quality's there, but sometimes it can change with youth players. You never know. So I'd loan him for now.
Adam?
If you can let his contract run down, if it's at the end of next season, let him go down. I think releasing is a bit. When you release someone from their contract, it's a bit harsh sometimes, but sometimes it's warranted. I think a player who's come through the ranks, I think it's fair to either let him go just on the free then, or if you can actually negotiate a deal and try and get some funds in from, even though if it's only a little. I'd personally sell him. I don't know what his contract situation is, whether it's at the end of next season. I'm not too sure yet.
I'll go with Adam. I'll sell him. Let's put him in the sell category. Next up, Facundo Pellistri. Obviously one of Shiraz's favourite players. I think he talks about him quite a lot. He rates him very highly. I think he's got some talent there. I think he's getting selected for the Uruguay squad. And he quite a lot. He gets selected. I think there's a talent there. I think there's somebody there that I think we could definitely use. Whether he needs another loan or not, I don't know. I would loan him. I think I'd send him out on the loan. That would be my sort of personal opinion. But Nick, what are you thinking with Pellistri?
Yeah, I think another loan, but it depends where the loan is. I don't want him going out Deportivo or something like that again. I want like what James Garner had at Nottingham Forest. Send him out to like a physical league, like the Championship, or somewhere lower, somewhere in the Prem but lower table, so we can gain that experience. That's what I do with him.
Adam?
Personally, loan him. You're thinking who is in the kind of pecking order ahead of him? I'd probably put Garnacho just ahead of him. That's why I keep Garnacho around. But I'd loan Pellistri out. I think there is a player there. It's just a shame that he's getting more minutes at a national team level than he is for us. But that's why I think he needs the loan spell, and I think it'll make him even a better player. So yeah, loan.
I agree. We'll get on to Garnacho in a minute. Right, Nick, your favourite player, Amad Diallo,
captain.
First team starter. He's shown some glimpses of talent. Obviously, we had that goal. Who was the goal against? Is it Champions League? Milan. Fucking phenomenal goal. Really, fantastic. Took well. I think he's got talent, the kid. He's got some serious talent. Paid quite a bit of money for him, considering I think he only started 14 games for Atlanta or something like that. Didn't start that many games. You're right, Adam.
Yeah, I just don't know, why we paid that much money for someone who's played that many games. I know Nick isn't going to be happy, and literally as soon as I do that, I think someone walked in the room. That's why I done that too.
For me, I think, how old is he now? 20? 19? You got to answer, Nick.
I'm just waiting to see what you're going to say.
I just want to know how old he is.
He's 19, I think.
19. Okay, so he's got time. I think maybe another loan. I think maybe he needs another loan. He is quite a slight lad, isn't he? He's quite a small guy. So maybe he needs a bit of a sort of tougher league. I know he went to Rangers, which again is quite rough in the Scottish League. So maybe he needs something lower down in the Premier League would be great. I think that'd be a good option for him. What? What now?
Nothing. I'll tell you after the thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speak on your boy, Nick.
I mean, what is he more to be said? He's yeah. Look, I have a lot of faith in this kid purely from what I've seen. Even before he came to Manchester United, the people that was raving about him, his potential there. He just needs to tap into it. Obviously, sometimes it doesn't always work out with players like that. But I think he will be a good player for us, and I think he's on loan at the minute to Sunderland.
Yeah.
And he's been doing all right there. He had a decent loan spell at Rangers, was okay there. Got 2 assists in pre-season. So he's building, slowly getting there. He'll be a star. Don't worry about it. Keep.
Adam?
I'd personally release him from the...
Get the fuck out. Who the fuck is that guy?
No, I think there is high potential in the kid. Like from the only few times that I did watch him against Milan, he came on, and every time he got on the ball, it just got me nearly out of my seat as well that time. I know there was no fans in the stadium that time, but only a few players actually can do that, and he's one of the few. I think he can be a great player, so I personally loan him out. I don't know if I don't think the loan really worked off to Rangers in Scotland. Personally wouldn't send anyone there, even my worst enemy. But yeah, I'd probably send him to someone like I think he could perform well at someone like in this league as well, like Fulham. Yeah. I think he could do a job.
Fulham, Crystal Palace, Brighton, something like that.
Yeah,
that'd be good. Yeah, let's move on. We'll talk about my up and coming player, Alejandro Garnacho. I think this kid has got serious talent. I think he's possibly one of the sort of brightest stars that we've got. I think it speaks volumes that he hasn't gone on loan, because normally we've got a kid like this, they go on loan. I think Ten Hag sees something in him. I think Ollie's probably saw something in him as well. I think he's in and around the first team because I think Ten Hag has some faith in him. I think he's going to get some minutes this season, whether that's in the FA Cup or the League Cup or something like that, maybe even the Europa League. I think he'll get minutes in this first team, and I think he's a very, very quality player. And I think, isn't he starting for Argentina as well? Doesn't he getting in the Argentina squad?
I don't know if he's starting. He got in the squad though.
So yeah, I think this kid's going to be quality. I think he's going to be a star. So for me, I'd keep him around in the squad. Nick?
Yeah, obviously won the FA Youth Cup final last season, didn't they? Garnacho got, I think, a goal in the final and a goal in the semi-final, and got the Jimmy Murphy Young Player of the Year kind of thing. So he's got bags of potential. He's a star player from out of that academy at the minute. And yeah, just needs nurturing. And under 10 Hag, we haven't got a better coach for nurturing players. So keep him 100%.
Adam?
Yeah, I think he's at that next level ahead of Palestri right now, so I'd personally keep him around. I think he can get a good few minutes in the league as well this season. I think he's good enough for it, especially on the left side. We've seen Sancho likes to come off around the 60-minute mark. Well, I don't know if he is happy about that, but the manager tends to do that, so maybe he might mix it up and bring Garnacho on. So I'd personally keep him around for a while, and then if he's kind of looking for more minutes kind of next season, maybe loan him out then, but right now I keep him.
Yeah. Vince in the chat, he's saying he's going to be the next big star. He's going to be the new Lionel Messi. That's a big fucking call, that. Jesus. Don't put that much pressure on the kid. Fucking hell. Yeah, let's move on to the forward line. Charlie McNeil, I think he needs to go out on loan, doesn't he? He needs minutes, he needs experience. He just needs to get time in a first team squad for me. I don't think he's going to get that many minutes in the first team squad, so for me, I'd loan him out.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Let's put him in the loan. Let's move on let's knock out a couple of these. So Anthony, I think you just keep, don't we? We paid 90 million for him. He's not going anywhere. He's not being loaned. He's not being sold. So just keep him. He goes in keep. Jadon Sancho, again, I think he's one of our best players. I think he stays. We have to keep him no matter what. And I think we paid, again, a lot of money for him. I think he stays. We keep him, yeah?
Yeah.
Cool. Then this is where it gets interesting. Let's do Anthony Elanga first. Anthony Elanga, for me, he's played a lot of games for United, and I don't think he should have played this many games, especially starting in the first team. I think he should have been nurtured much like the way Alejandro Garnacho is being sort of bled into the squad. I think he should have gone out on loan a few times, start at like a championship team, and then work his way up to a lower Premier League team, and then be fed into the team. That's what should have happened with Anthony Elanga. but we were so short of forwards. We didn't have enough squad depth. He got forced into the team. He played far too many games. Obviously, he came into the team and he's really good, but he played far too many games. His form dipped, and he hasn't sort of come back up since then. So for me, we've handled his development quite wrong, and I think we could have done it a lot better. So for me, I would put him out on loan to get game out at a Championship team or a lower Premier League team. That's what I would do, Nancy Elanga, and give him the opportunity to develop properly. But the floor's yours, Nick. Let us know.
This might sound a bit harsh, but is he? If you ask yourselves, is he any better than someone like a Nathan Redmond? Don't think he is, to be honest. Is that United level? No, it's not. Can he get to that level? I wouldn't put my hat on it. I wouldn't bank on it. I think he's an athlete. He works really hard. He's got some good qualities. He's obviously electric. He's got pace, but his first touch, his decision making, his tactical awareness at times isn't up to scratch. Now, like I said, he can develop into that, but you can't predict the future. So as of now, I'd probably loan him out.
Yeah. Adam?
Nick thinks that's harsh. I'm about to be a...
Are you about to say release it? Are you about to say contract release? Adam?
You know what? I'm selling him.
Sell him.
Don't think he has the qualities there. He's just all pace. His end product isn't there, and he started off as a striker too, but he just doesn't seem to look that good up front. And it might sound harsh, but I think if you were to sell him, get a buyback clause, put that in. Maybe he might prove me wrong, but that's something I would do. And I think
we didn't do it with James Garner, stupidly.
No. Stupidly we didn't, and that's something we should have done. And I don't know why we don't do this, because all the top clubs in Europe do this, especially for these sort of players who are kind of string players, kind of pushing on the edge. Maybe they'll get in, maybe they won't. And it's something we need to do. I'm pretty sure Real Madrid do it the whole time. Bayern Munich do it the whole time as well. So why don't we do something along those lines? Crystal Palace would probably take him, if I'm being honest. These sort of clubs I think he could get into. And right now, that's something I'd do. I'd sell him, but with a buyback clause.
I think because he's been outvoted, he's going in loan. But if he did, if we did sell him, I wouldn't be upset with it. Like, I wouldn't be like, it's not a James Garner for me where I'm like, what could have been.
Yep.
I think I'd be all right with him being sold, but he's going in loan for now. Marcus Rashford is, again, another player last season. I think we voted him our worst player of the season last season. Mm-hmm. I thought he was terrible. I thought his end product, absolutely shocking. His decision making. Nick used the phrase that Roy Keane, I think, brought up, is the lights are on but there's nobody home. He was absolutely horrendous for United, and he just kept getting played day in, day out. And he was supposedly fit, supposedly free of injury, supposedly free of any sort of issues, back, ankle, he's supposed to shoulder. Everything was supposed to be fine, and he was worse than when he was playing with a broken back. So yeah, for me last season, I was on the, like, when PSG came in, I was seriously like, yeah, sell him, get the 70 million for him, get rid. But under Ten Hag, he seems to be getting his confidence back. He scored goals, seems to be playing better. Decision making's getting there. Still needs a little bit of work, but it's getting there. I think he's developing and coming back to the player that we saw when he had that the pandemic season with Tony Marshall, who we'll get into later. I think there's a player there, and I think the Ten Hag effect is working on him. So for me, I think we have to keep it and see what Ten Hag can do with him. Nick?
Yeah, like I said with Luke Shaw, he's got another season for me to prove. So far, he's proven he's got 3 goals, 2 assists in 6 games, so decent goal involvements. The one thing that worries, I'll be very quick on this, about him is when he has 2 banks of 4 in front of him and he's got to create something, he isn't the best. He's better off the cuff in behind on a counter-attack. We know that. So I would only use him in set games. I think it'll be Sancho and Antony starting. Then when we've got a big game like City or Liverpool, who are going to have a lot of the possession, Marcus Rashford comes into the fold, and he's got a great record against the top 6. So that's how I think he'll be used.
Adam?
Yeah, I think this is for me, kind of his deciding season. It makes or break. it makes or break him, and at the end we'll know whether he has decent numbers, whether he's actually, playing a key part and role in the actual starting team. Yeah, he doesn't play well against a team that just sits back. He needs that space and to run into, and he often or not, he's probably one of the best in the league for that, doing that. But when you're the majority of the teams that we're going to be up against in this league is going to be sitting back, we're going to have more possession on average than a lot of these teams. So we need someone who's a bit more reliable. But right now, I'd keep him. And if you asked me, like probably a couple of months ago, I would have sold him.
Yeah.
Like football can change really, really quick. Opinions can change. Scott McTominay, I would have sold like probably a month ago, a month and a half ago, 2 months.
Yeah.
It's a funny old game it is, but right now, yeah, I probably keep him. But we have the option of isn't it a 1 year extension?
Yeah, yeah.
I think, yeah. So you can get funds as well, and apparently a few teams are interested in him. So I think it would have been a good thing to restart his career. But he's looking all right now. He is, and I think he's under the right manager he's under a great manager anyway, and I think someone who can get the best out of him.
Yeah, I agree. Another divisive figure, Tony Marshall. Obviously, I don't know if Severe's still in the chat. President and founding member of Marshall FC. A lot of us abandoned ship the last couple of seasons. Obviously, he had a terrible season last season for United, and then he went on loan to Sevilla, and did he score 1 goal for Sevilla?
I don't know if he scored.
Did he score? Never score. Got booed by the Sevilla fans. Fucking horrible season for Tony Marshall. I think coming into this summer, we were all like, yeah, sell him, get rid of him, bring in a striker, like done with him. And then in pre-season, he showed some like Tony Marshall that we've not seen for a long time. Under Ten Hag, he seemed revitalised. He seemed fantastic, playing well with Martial, Sancho, with Rashford, Sancho. Seemed to be the Tony Marshall of old. And I think with Ronaldo was obviously out of the team because of reasons. He said personal reasons. I don't know how much of that is true, but we've got to take his word for it at the minute. He seemed to thrive with Ronaldo not being there. And then unfortunately he's been curtailed by injury. Ten Hag said he wouldn't be out long, but he's been out for quite a while now. So that's quite worrying, especially with his history of injuries. Again, I think, much like Adam mentioned, I think this is make or break season for Anthony Martial under Ten Hag. Give him this season. If he can stake his claim for the place, happy to keep hold of him. But if this season goes much like the previous seasons, I think it's time to cut our losses. But for me, he's got this season to prove himself. Nick?
I'd agree to a certain extent. I just feel like with the history that we've seen from him, he can put in good seasons like this again, but then he goes missing.
Yeah.
For a couple of years. And then are we going to have him as the main man? Is Ten Hag not going to bring in a new, young, fresh striker? That's the question I'm asking myself. If I'm United now, I probably get a good season out of him, show his capabilities, get his price tag the highest you can, and probably sell him, to be honest. That's what I'd do. Because if you can get him playing how he was in pre-season for a full season, and he comes out with 15, 20 goals, you can probably push the price tag up to about 50 million that you can get for him.
Yeah.
And I would take that and then invest it in a younger player who's more suited. But saying that, Martial suits the system, so I don't know. It's a tricky one. I'll leave it to Adam to be the decider.
Adam, sell or keep?
It's a tough one because for a while I would have sold him in a heartbeat. I don't think he was up to scratch. But what we've seen of him when he does play under Ten Hag, I think we play our best football. We do most attractive looking football as well. And it's when he plays in his preferred position as well. And for the most part, when he did play last season, he wasn't playing in his preferred position because there was other players around. At the time, I think he had Cavani, Ronaldo as well. We're always kind of Ibrahimovic. Yeah. So, and Ollie, I think, had trust in him that one season, played them down the middle, and he put up great numbers. He did. I think right now, because we're going to be looking for a striker next summer as well, I'd keep him. I think as like, a B option, and it might. I'm probably going to tear up the point I just made, but he can also play on the left as well. Yes, I'm kind of tearing that point up, but it is an option as well, and it's someone, I'd love to see just flourish again, because when he's at his best, he's at his best, and he's torn the likes of Van Dijk to shreds as well, especially
Yep.
when he was a lot younger as well. And he still has it in him. He's a really, really good dribbler of the ball. He's fast. He's a good finisher as well. We've seen it, like when he cuts in on his right foot. I don't think there's many better players at the club who actually can finish into the top corner. There isn't. So I do think there is a player in there. I just hope this injury isn't as serious as we thought. And I think maybe it's something that Ten Hag can do as well, what he done to Varane. Just put him on a kind of individual kind of, program. And
Yeah.
hopefully we can see a bit more of him, because he's my preferred choice down the middle this season anyway, who I'd like to see.
Yeah.
So I keep him.
Yeah, I think, are we all in agreement this is his make or break season? If he doesn't perform,
Yeah.
he's done. Nick?
Yeah, but I'd still sell him.
Sell him anyway. Fair enough. All right. Last but not least, certainly not least, the GOAT, Cristiano Ronaldo. I'm not going to say anything initially. I'm going to leave it to you two, and then I'll give my take at the end. Nick, Ronaldo.
I'll let Adam go first on this.
Oh, pass the buck.
So this is from the perspective of next season, isn't it?
Yeah,
Like
next summer. Next summer, what do we do?
Yeah. I think you get rid of him. Yeah, I personally just get rid of him. It might sound harsh. He's a lot older. He did come out today, I think, and said that he wants to play in Euro 2024. So he's obviously not retiring anytime soon.
No.
Doesn't plan on it. But he just doesn't look like he suits the system. He doesn't do all the kind of running that I would hope and Ten Hag would hope. But he was obviously in Ten Hag's initial plans because he spoke very highly of him. But I think it's just left a sour taste in the manager's mouth as well, about him coming out basically publicly saying he wants to leave. I know he personally didn't come out and say it, but like, you shut down those claims if they do come out.
Yeah.
And he didn't. And then we're supposedly waiting for this interview that never happened.
Yeah.
So like, what's the story there? That was meant to come out, what was it, like 2 weeks ago? Never did. So we don't know what the whole truth is, but right now I think it's the one last case of, constant drama that's in our squad that needs to go. I think if you get rid of him, I think the Maguire thing can also get. We obviously want to get rid of Maguire too, so that can be two kind of birds with one stone. We obviously need a striker. Fabrizio Romano has come out and said it as well, that we're in the market looking for someone who is out there. You don't know yet, but next season, and especially next summer, I think it's the best you have. Was it 3-4 months to look for a replacement, and I think there could be someone that will pop up during this season that will be in for. So I personally get rid of him.
I think he's got to go on it. We're on different tractions now. Do you know what I mean? United are going this way. Ronaldo's going this way. He's 38. Ten Hag needs a press efficient bagsman who's suited to the system, and Ronaldo isn't that guy. And he'll ride off into the sunset. Hopefully, go back to Sporting where it all started, playing the Champions League, maintain that goal record, and we can both smile about it. But over the past couple of months, I wasn't happy with him in particular, and I think by the time he gets to January, he'll probably sign a pre-contract with someone anyway. So, yeah, I think it'll still have a good send-off. It's Ronaldo in it. I absolutely love the guy.
Yeah.
I think United fans love the guy. So, yeah, I'd sell him.
Yeah, I agree with all your sentiments. I think he's one of the greatest players to ever play the game. He's one of the greatest United players to ever play for us. It's a shame because last season he was the only shining light in the squad, arguably. Kept us from probably relegation form, if anything, last season. I think he can still do it in a team that's built for him and a team that's built to his strengths. And I don't think that's what Ten Hag does. Ten Hag is a team builder. He builds teams. He doesn't build teams around individuals. He builds functions and tactics and stuff. And I don't think Ronaldo fits that. And again, like Nick said, he's not capable of the press. He can do it in spurts and like short bursts, but for a whole game. That's why we had Fred playing in the 10 against Sociedad, because he can't press. So I think, yeah, the time has come. And like Nick said, give him a send-off. Nice farewell to Old Trafford. Say goodbye to the fans. sing Viva Ronaldo one more time, and he'll forever be a legend at Manchester United. And yeah, go out and get that striker that we can for the next 5-10 years that'll score goals and will bring us trophies, hopefully. So for me, yeah, sell.
Go get the next Ronaldo, hopefully.
There you go. So there is the tier list. Hey, that's what Vince believes. Vince is saying Ronaldo stay. Zoe's Media TV says replace Ronaldo with Son Heung-min. I think Son becomes available next summer. I mean, I'd love Son Heung-min at our team, but I don't think Spurs are letting him go on the cheap, are they? It's not coming cheap.
No.
So
Daniel Levy, no.
Yeah, exactly. So I think he costs us about 200 million if we try and buy him. So yeah, that is our tier list. That is our opinions on the squad heading into next summer. Obviously, I think we'll do a squad. We'll do a sort of tier list, or maybe a sort of look ahead at the end of the season at players we could potentially buy, do a scout report, something like that. We'll do that to sort of replace these players. But yeah, let us know your thoughts in the comments. Let us know, do you agree with our tier list? Do you not? Who would you keep? Who would you sell? Put it all in the comments. Drop us a DM on Instagram. Always happy to chat. Lads, thank you for joining me. Nick, thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Adam, thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me on. I enjoyed this one.
No worries. Nick, any sort of comments, good things before we leave?
Yeah, obviously it's the international break, so there'll be no football whatsoever. There's no watch-alongs, there's no previews, but there'll still be loads of content and a variety of content as well. We've got some new shows this week with interactive stuff, things like this, A to Z, after hours. We're going to mix it up so it's fresh and it's vibrant. So you're covered over the international break, don't worry about it if you think you're going to be bored senseless. And yeah, follow us all on socials. Handles are at the bottom.
Handles at the bottom, links are in the description. Adam, anything before we sign off you want to sort of mention to the people?
Just hit the subscribe button. We're trying to get to 1,000 hopefully before the end of the year, and it will mean a lot to actually hit it. I know we've recently it's a bit of a slow patch, but it's still going up, so yeah, happy days. Continue to keep it going up, so that's what we want to see.
Yeah,
so thanks very much. Yeah, please subscribe.
Thank you everybody in the chat for joining us. Thank you all future viewers. If you're watching on this on demand, appreciate it. Put your thoughts in the comments, like, share, subscribe, all the good stuff. Thank you everybody for joining us, and we'll see you tomorrow. I'm not fully sure what we're doing tomorrow, but there'll be some form of content.
It'll be a surprise.
And then every day this week we'll have something for you, so don't worry about that. Keep an eye on the socials, and yeah, thank you everybody for joining me. We shall see you tomorrow. Peace.
Love.